tough luck for the South Carolina native, and there's his teammate, Cole Powell, out of Ontario.
Yeah, Cole had a third place finish last year at Talladega. He finished 20th here. See Shane Lee, the Lee boy car.
And one of our rookies.
One of our rookies with quite a bit of damage. Watch about 3 or 4 lines back. The 78 definitely moved to the inside. Don't know if he had any help. Maybe it turned him sideways right into his teammate, the 98 of Gus Dean, that pushed him back up the racetrack right in front of the pack.
Look at Kevin Thomas Jr. in that 22, gets minimal damage, middle of your screen. This is a kid that had never raced on a facility bigger than a half-mile prior to today, and that was a pretty nice save by him.
You can't tell from that angle whether the 78 got a little bit of contact that turned him around down into the inside line where he collected his teammate, Gus Dean. See all these drivers, that you see all that smoke. It's way worse from racetrack level.
I think about Greg Alding, Frank Kimmel, some of those drivers. Brett Hudson would have started right in the middle of the pack, probably been collected, dropped to the rear, and I don't think any of them got any damage.
Boy, it almost looked like there might have been a little bit of contact right there to turn that 78 sideways. If there would have been an opening down to the inside, he probably would have got away with it, but not this early in the race.
On board
no
with
openings.
Gus Dean. That's Cole Powell on the outside.
Look at the rear of that car. Look how close the 83 is. Derek Lancaster. Definitely contact from behind that sent him down across the racetrack.
That's unfortunate because those cars have been fast, not only this weekend, but were really good when we tested here in January. See what it looked like from the view of Sarah Cornett-Ching on board here.
Dylan Lupton, the 82, to her inside. She just blipped the throttle for just a second, and that quickly she was by the incident. See her waiting out the window to the cars behind her.
Sean Core, one of those that just missed getting involved.
Dylan Lupton as well in the 82 car.
And look at all the cars way back behind him that were able to avoid the accident because they were not up right in the middle of the draft. Pack will slide high and go around him. Anxious times in the draft here at Daytona.
See how close the 55 of Byron and the 05 got of John West Townley. Got to make sure you give Mark Thompson some room down there. There's some contact. They're not going to. Are they going to survive this?
They are not. We got one in the wall. Second caution of the day. And among those involved, the 83 of Derek Lancaster got a piece of the action. Mark Thompson, and look at that. Matt Kurziewski thought that was him in that outside lane.
It really causes anxious moments when you lap a car like that. You have to give that guy room down there. You want to stay tucked up with a car in front of you, and you want to stay pretty close to that inside. They didn't give Mark enough room, it didn't look like, and this is the result.
Mark Thompson, and it just didn't work out into turn one.
See, all these guys want to try to get down as low as they can. The 83 of Lancaster made contact with the 66 of Thompson, and Mark tried his best to save that car, but had to use a little bit more racetrack to do it. See, they've already made a little bit of contact. You see Dylan Lupton, somehow he's going to avoid that. He was right sack in the middle of that in the 82 car, and somehow was able to get around those guys.
So Mark Thompson was 3 laps down. They tried to get around him. It didn't work out. And as you can see, Matt Kurziewski among those that have climbed from their vehicles after our second caution of the day.
I really didn't understand why those guys stayed out. They would have bought so much more insurance of fuel. But now we've got to caution. Tom Hesser, you see, with some damage, left rear tires down. Looks like he may have got into the wall. That's going to take that all out the window. Everyone's going to be able to come to pit road now. Tough break for Tom Hesser. Nice job, I'm sure, keeping that car out of the wall. Watch him. You see, he probably felt like he had a problem because he dropped behind the pack. You see that tire come apart there. Look at that. Wow, around it goes.
Let's go on board with Tom Hesser and listen as he goes to turn 3.
You could hear him vibrating a little bit before it actually went. He did an amazing job. Got completely sideways. Did an amazing job of not getting into the outside wall with that car. He is the new leader because
trouble. Turn 2. Car spinning at turn number 2.
Stenhouse.
And look at the water. Look at the water coming out of the 2 cars. He went by our camera there. We just saw was that 17 of Stenhouse. Looked like he lost it in turn 2.
That's got to be a tire issue.
Look at all that water, Jeff.
Well, the consequence of being the leader is that you clean the racetrack for everybody. And Brad picked up, we're looking at Ricky Stenhouse recovering after that spin. Brad picked up a piece of plastic, maybe a sandwich bag or something, right over the radiator inlet. His car overheated. You see, whatever it is still there.
Okay.
And the car badly overheated. He had to give up the lead, try to get behind someone to get that piece of plastic off, but it has not happened.
He ended up on top of Bobby.
Look away on the right side of your screen.
Oh, yeah, he just goes around.
Yeah, Stenhouse had to have had some kind of problem. I can't imagine that car could be that loose by himself there, and he just lost it. And unfortunately, Hamlin, that strategy that he was playing did not play out for him.
Now remember, he did come in and pit, but he took fuel only.
Hey, I got to tell you this about Earnhardt real quick. Larry said that he'd get on Earnhardt, said, don't you think auto?
Around.
Oh, my God.
Hard in the wall.
Oh, that was a hard lick.
And that is Brian Vickers.
Another right rear tire went down to me.
My gosh, that was a hard lick.
You know, we saw that car really dancing around. You made a comment about it, DW. And the next thing you know, he went to go into turn 1, and the car just turned around.
Oh my gosh.
Clint Boyer also involved. Looks like damage to Kevin Harvick as well.
Yeah.
Really interesting to know what's going on with these right rear tires. Are they rubbing? Are they puncturing from debris?
Greg Biffle.
There's a lot of cars got damaged in this little. I don't understand this. Last year was a crash fest, and here we are starting off tonight same way.
Now Brian Vickers has come to a stop, and the signal to NASCAR officials that he is okay is that he has lowered his window net. He has done so.
Look at that. That's Dale Jr.'s car. The whole side torn out of it.
Yeah, unlike the 11 car, that is definitely going to hinder your performance.
Yes. You got to have some sort of
right up ahead, right in the middle.
Bam. Gosh, that was hard hit.
He almost missed it. Pretty tough when somebody cuts a tire right in the middle of the field like that going into turn 1.
And remember, we've got a tailwind tonight, and the cars are probably running 200+ miles an hour as they go off into turn 1. Watch this thing.
You can see just a little bit of smoke come off this 14 car just as he starts to get into turn 1. You can start to see the sidewall of the tire hanging out.
There she goes.
There's just nothing you can do in that situation.
Goodness.
Oh, Clint Boyer just caught him. Let's ride with Kurt Busch in the 41 through this.
Smoke in there in front of you there. Keep coming. There you go.
Kurt did an awesome job recognizing that something was wrong and going on. Maybe he could see that smoke, and you could see he started lifting much earlier than cars around him, trying to anticipate it and get out of the way. And I think he did a great job, for the most part, missing it. I think might be a little bit of damage on the right side.
All those blue blocks you saw, that's safety foam between the outer door skin and the roll cage. 6 cars involved.
Well, good news for Brian Vickers. He has been checked and released, and you actually smiled there, but that was a big hit, Brian. What happened?
Yeah, it was. It's unfortunate. I think we just cut a right rear tire. I don't know how we cut it yet. You know, the 2 and I were kind of getting together a little bit down the straightaway, but we had a little contact with the 18 early on, and maybe it got into the tire. I'm not sure, but I felt it going down the straightaway, and at that point I started to roll out. But you're going 200 miles an hour.
When I'm watching this, I sure am glad we took that break, because I need to take a breath, and I'm really excited that I'm up here.
Around goes Johnson.
We're going to tear it all.
Yeah, he hit the front splitter, ripped the front end right off that car. He's
caution waves.
Be done.
The nose of that 48 is all torn up.
Wrecked.
You're a hell of a driver, Jimmy. Good job. You did great.
Earl Barbin, the spotter.
Get to the garage.
And Chad Knaus, crew chief.
I like the way Chad operates. Take it to the garage.
Let's have a look here. Look at this group right here, 3 wide.
Got Jamie McMurray on the outside. I think that's Casey
Mears up on the outside there.
And you can see they just still are on his quarter, and it pushed Jimmy up into the 13 just a little bit.
Oh, man.
And looked like maybe him and the 13 got together. Then him and Menard got together.
Menard may have given Jimmy a little shot and pushed him up into the 13.
And that area where Johnson went off is the bus stop chicane for the sports car races here, and it's a grass to asphalt to grass transition. You end up being a farm tractor going through there.
It's just a really awkward position to be in.
Real tight. Oh, boy, Kyle Larson did a nice job there.
Let's ride along with Jimmy Johnson.
In and out, in and out.
Watch his hands.
In and out.
I think he was just in an awkward position.
Yeah, it was like the air from the car on the inside was pushing him wide. Then the car on the outside, when the car gets the right rear quarter panel, it can push the back of the car out and almost turn you into the car in front
Under
of you.
caution at lap 57, Casey Kane having a great run in the number 5. Let's have a look at what happens, because he had a little help.
Yeah, we're going to see Casey Kane here leading the 1 car of Jamie McMurray. As they come down the back straightaway, Jamie just starts bump drafting the 5 car, and it starts getting the 5 loose and getting side to side, and eventually it just turns them right into the outside into A.J. Allmendinger, unfortunately. You know, I talked about this earlier. It's just really difficult to bump draft these days with the way the bumpers are shaped, and that's the risk that you're going to take, even though you're trying to get that car ahead.
Well, when we look at the cars in the corner, think about how close the bumper is in the corner. When it gets on the straightaway, look how high it is. The car gets light back there.
And here's what Jamie McMurray had to say.
100% my fault. I just was trying to give him the best push I could. Sort of stuck down there on the bottom.
The Ford's trying to gang up on the outside. Now Logano drops to the bottom in front of Matt Kenseth.
Oh, no.
And a car's in the wall. It is Kurt Busch.
Wow, looked like something. That looked like a tire.
Yeah, almost like that damage he had on the right rear.
Oh,
was
there's
rubbing
more
something
smoke
else
up
going
ahead.
on the back straight. Big wreck.
Big wreck on the back. Holy smoly.
Wow, I did not see that.
Logano and Edwards running right at the front, and McMurray trying to sneak past.
There's Carl
Eric
Edwards. Here's
Almirola, Kyle Busch.
Everybody is in
Is
that
there
wreck.
anybody that didn't crash?
My.
Another
All right, there
another
is
splitter ripped off one of those cars. That grass is pretty mean back there.
Hamlin,
hate grass.
Logano, Larson come by,
Grass is
along
for
with
golf.
Kenseth, Menard, and Keselowski, Dillon, and Truex. They were not involved. First, here's what happened to Kurt Busch.
What the heck?
Kurt Busch high on the outside, the black car toward the back.
Yeah, we saw him. He goes up the hill. Looks like lost the right rear tire, maybe.
Pretty good chance of that. He definitely was loose right there going in there.
And so we're watching him and what he's going to do.
Let's watch from the Goodyear blimp and see what happens at the front of the field.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Edwards and Keselowski touch.
And then they maybe touch again.
Squeeze play.
No, you know, Mears in the 13 bammed into the 2 of Keselowski and shot him into the 19 of Edwards.
I'd love to hear the 19 car spotter to see if he thought he was clear there, because he definitely squeezed that 2 up there, and I don't know if he was quite clear of him.
I believe the 13 got into the back of the 19 and drove him forward.
Easy, get middle.
You could tell right there that the 2 saw the 19 coming up and was wanting to check up. The 13 got into the back of him, and the whole line started stacking
That's
back
what it looked like.
Yeah, tempo.
This is looking off turn 2. And things jam up in a hurry.
Man, how many wrecks do you see on the back straightaway? I mean, one right after another.
Well, and the thing that happens here late in the race, nobody's checking up. And this is when I say bumper cars at 200 miles per hour, because it really is. Nobody's going to check up. If you've got momentum, you're not about to give it up.
All right, here's Carl, and he's going to run up here, and he and Brad make a little
And
contact.
he really stalled the 2 out right there.
Then the 2 fights back on the outside, and they touched, but I think the 13 drove the 2 up into the 19. That's what it looked like.
I think that the 2 and the 19 started making contact, and the 2 started checking up a little bit, and the 13 had nowhere to go but in the back of them. And like I said, nobody's checking up right now.
Well, Jeff Gordon described it as bumper cars, Kyle. What'd you see out there? Not much place for you to go.
No, I seen the 19 and the 2 really fighting for a spot, and from my vantage point, that's all I could see, and I could tell we were going to wreck, so I tried to check up a little bit, and then it's just on from behind me, you know, but nothing else you can do from there, I guess. But it's funny when the guys behind you get through the wreck and they're able to go on the rest of the way, you know. But I hate it for our M&M's Camry. You know, I was still kind of playing out. I was pushing to 13. We were working really good together, and I was going to push him as hard as I could to see if I couldn't get up a little bit farther to the front to give ourselves a chance to win. But hopefully one of our teammates can do it.
Wow.
Whoa! No, that's it.
That was all at the back. We may make it to the checkered flag. The wreck is at the tail end.
They're 2 by 2. You're clear by 2.
Leaders on the back straightaway. Coming hard. Caution waves. It's over.
Caution. Hell yeah.
In the unlimited. Here's the mayhem on the last lap.
So it looked like Hamlin put a big block on the 27 car. The 20 gets right in there behind Menard, and then as they got into turn 1, it looked like they just ran out of room between the 20 and the 1. He was already side by side with the 2, and then caught up the 78 in that as well.
Wow, just one wreck right after another. It's amazing.
So when that little incident happened, when the 11 blocked the 27's run and the 20 was right behind him, it just stalled him out a little bit, and that one car had momentum coming right to the center. He saw an opening there, and in the closing laps of these races, as I mentioned before, you don't check up, you don't lift, you just can't. If you're going to win the race, and it's really all about winning, you got to stay in the gas even if that gap closes right in front of you.